The modern Rolex resale boom didn't quietly fade away. It collapsed. And the most uncomfortable truth is this: the gray market didn't just fail on its own, it was outmaneuvered. For years, flipping Rolex watches felt unstoppable. Dealers paid cash instantly. Prices climbed month after month. People treated stainless steel sports watches like liquid assets. That era is finished. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it ended, who got trapped holding the bag, and how Rolex itself reshaped the entire ecosystem. If you care about the real mechanics behind luxury markets, not the marketing, stay with me. When the watch market lost its mind, go back just a few years. Early 2022 was peak insanity. Watches with a retail price around $10,000 were selling for double, sometimes triple, on the secondary market. Steel sports models weren't just popular, they were speculative instruments. People weren't buying to wear, they were buying to flip. This happened because multiple forces collided at once. Governments flooded economies with stimulus cash. Travel shut down, restaurants closed, and discretionary spending had nowhere to go. At the same time, crypto and meme stocks minted a new class of fast money. That money didn't want patience. It wanted momentum. Social media poured fuel on the fire. Watches became status symbols of financial intelligence rather than craftsmanship. Screenshots of resale profits replaced discussions about movements and finishing. Scarcity became the sales pitch. And it worked, until it didn't. The crash nobody wanted to admit. What followed wasn't a gentle correction. It was a sharp, grinding decline. Secondary prices started slipping, then accelerating downward. Market indexes tracking Rolex resale values dropped more than 30% from their highs. Gains built up over years vanished in months. The most hyped models suffered the hardest. Pieces that had been pushed far beyond rational value were the first to fall. Inventory that once moved instantly began sitting. Cash offers shrank. Dealers stopped returning calls. This wasn't just demand cooling, it was confidence breaking. The economic reality dealers couldn't escape. One major shift changed everything. Money stopped being cheap. For years, gray market dealers relied on credit. Low interest rates allowed them to stockpile inventory without pressure. If a watch sat unsold for months, it didn't matter. Prices kept rising, and financing costs were minimal. That math flipped. Interest rates climbed. Credit tightened. Holding inventory became expensive, risky, and dangerous. A watch that didn't sell quickly wasn't an asset anymore. It was a liability. At the same time, crypto wealth evaporated. The same buyers who had driven demand were suddenly selling. Instead of one seller and 5 buyers, the market became 5 sellers and no buyers. Liquidity vanished. Rolex didn't save the market, it reclaimed it. While independent dealers were scrambling, Rolex made its move. First came official entry into the pre-owned space. For the first time, buyers could purchase used Rolex watches with factory authentication, official service, and a manufacturer-backed warranty, all under Rolex's control. This wasn't about offering deals. Prices were often higher than the open market. What Rolex sold was certainty, and that changed everything. Suddenly, independent dealers were competing against the brand itself, without access to its trust, paperwork, or guarantees. The scarcity narrative cracked. Next came production signals. For decades, scarcity was Rolex's greatest weapon. You couldn't walk in and buy what you wanted. That artificial friction drove demand into the gray market. Then Rolex announced major manufacturing expansion. More factories, more capacity, more watches. At the same time, authorized dealers quietly began displaying inventory again. Not everything, but enough to break the illusion. If buyers could eventually get watches at retail, paying massive premiums stopped making sense. The foundation of flipping began to crumble. How flippers lost their edge. Retail prices continued to rise, but resale prices fell. That destroyed margins. The classic flip, buy at retail, sell instantly for 5 figures in profit, disappeared. Risk stayed high. Reward shrank. Many flippers exited. Others got stuck. Inventory bought at peak prices turned toxic. Selling meant locking in losses. Holding meant watching values slip further. There was no winning move. Who lost and who benefited? For speculative traders and leveraged dealers, this period has been brutal. Many businesses downsized or disappeared. The strategy of hype-driven arbitrage stopped working. For actual watch enthusiasts, the outcome looks very different. Prices normalized. Access improved. The conversation shifted back toward ownership instead of resale value. The market became slower, calmer, and more rational. Not perfect, but healthier. The market has split in two. Today's Rolex resale landscape has a clear divide. On one side, official factory-backed pre-owned watches with higher prices and maximum security. On the other, independent dealers offering better value but carrying more risk. The era of easy money in the middle is gone. Final thought. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't just the economy. It was a reset. The speculative phase burned itself out, and Rolex stepped in to reclaim control over its own ecosystem. Flipping modern Rolex watches as a side hustle is over. The music stopped, and the exits closed. So here's the real question moving forward. Would you rather pay more for absolute certainty, or take on some risk for better value? Let me know what side you're on.